Afternoon. Where are they bringing these back in from?
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our game against Liverpool. We'll start off with Vinny from Sky.
David, first of all, can we check on McPartland? How serious is the injury he picked up?
Well, he's got a bit of an injury, but he's back. He came in, he done a bit in training yesterday, so we're hopeful that he'll be okay. But we still have to wait and see tomorrow exactly how he is.
What about getting anyone back? Obviously, McNeil and Dye, they've been training.
Yep.
How far along are they?
They're doing great, actually. Both of them are coming on great. Ellie's a little bit further on than Dwight at the moment, but it's great that they're back in training. In the main, it's helped us a little bit with having Dom out as well. But Dom's the only one who's really behind it a little bit at the moment. Dom, we're just waiting on him coming back. The rest are all getting much closer to fitness.
When you say behind it, he's not.
I don't mean behind. I just mean behind those ones and coming back just now. The likes of Ellie and Dwight are certainly getting closer.
With Dom, have you got any date in mind as to when he could be back?
No, I've not got a date with Dom yet, but look, he's back. He's on the grass, so good signs that he's getting closer to it.
Just during the international break, obviously there was talk of Jared Branthwaite and his future. Has there been any mention to you from him that he feels he needs to play elsewhere to enhance his England prospects? And if he did feel that way, what would you say to him?
I would say to him, Phil Jagielka, Leighton Baines, Joe and Lescott. That's three who we brought in who went on to become international players for England, which was a great achievement. I think Jared's in that position where he could easily go on and do that. I see it as a challenge for Jared to pick up and say, come on, I'm going to show what I can do. But I think this club's developed quite a few England internationals, to be honest, over the years, and we've got a very good goalkeeper who's playing for England as well.
And he's not come to you and said that either, I take it?
No, so we got on with it.
9 games unbeaten, longest run without defeat since February 2017. Only 5 sides across Europe's Big 5 leagues have managed to avoid league defeats during that period as well. Scored in 9 successive league matches, having scored just 1 in the previous 6. What does that say about the job you're doing?
Well, it says that the club and the team are certainly in a better sort of trajectory than where we were before. We've started really well. The players have done a brilliant job. You know, there's a lot can be said. You know, the managers come in and we're jobs to get them playing, but I have to say the players have picked themselves right up. You know, they've turned the whole place around. The crowd, the support, and they've gone in a run, which has been really, really good. And actually, you know, we're a bit disappointed with a couple of the draws in there, which we didn't get victories. There might be a couple of draws in there which we could have been a bit lucky with, but overall, I think the players have got everything they deserve. They've got the results, and we want to keep it going.
Did you think it could happen that quickly?
Honestly, no, I didn't think that, because really when you're down there, why would you suddenly go on such a run? You know, you very rarely see maybe the teams at the bottom having such a big run. They might win a couple of games, but we've had some brilliant results at home and away, and long may that continue.
Looking ahead to this Merseyside derby, we spoke to Arne Slot earlier, and he said he's not expecting a lot of difference from the first game from either side. So how do you see it yourself as well? Are you expecting similar?
Well, I think Liverpool's league position would tell you that, you know, how they're playing is what they'll probably do. They've been in a great position. They've had a couple of really tough games, whether it be PSG and a tough game against Newcastle. So, well, I think we're getting late in the season. I don't know if there's many surprises. You know, some teams might have players back from injuries, some might not. Some may have injuries themselves. I don't think there's huge surprises in the Premier League teams too often nowadays. I think it's another Merseyside derby, and a game we'll look forward to going and trying to win.
What does this fixture mean to you? What would it mean to get that first Merseyside derby victory for yourself at Anfield?
Well, it would be huge for us as a club to get that, because it's not something that the club here have done particularly often. It's always been difficult. I remember we've had a few draws here, which I remember well, and it's always tough. But it's not just us; it's tough for a lot of clubs, whoever it's been in the Premier League, to go there and get results.
Thanks, David. Good luck.
Cheers.
Thanks, Vinny. We'll go to Simon.
Are you sick of Anfield? You don't need reminding of your record there.
Am I sick of it? I'd be lying if I said that I look forward to going to it all the time, because it's been such a hard place to get results. But that's It's nothing to do with the surrounds, nothing to do with the pitch, nothing to do with anything else. It's to do with it. They've always had good teams. They've always produced good teams, and I think every team in the Premier League, whenever they go to Anfield, has got a game in their hands.
You're in good company in terms of that record. So Bobby Robson never won a game in his 24 visits, I think it was.
Is that right?
As
Well,
yeah.
good. I'm glad to hear that. Then I'll be bringing his name up a few more times.
You've been involved, or you've watched, or you've managed in plenty of different derbies all around the country and abroad as well. How do these compare? How does the Merseyside derby compare to everyone that you've been involved in?
I actually think the Merseyside derby in many ways is slightly different. I know that there's a big competition with the two clubs, but I actually think there's a big thing that a lot of Liverpool supporters I meet are thrilled that we're going the right direction, and there's a chance of being more Merseyside derbies, rather than none. So I think in many ways, I think the city, you quite often find this city's got half the family are Everton supporters, and the other half could be Liverpool supporters. And that, from that point, I think it makes it slightly different, the derby here. I mean, I've been involved in other derbies, derby in Glasgow, derbies in London, derbies in Manchester, and I think they're slightly different in that way. I think that this city has lots of family members who could quite easily be a blue or a red.
And just finally for me, the next 5 games for you now are the one of each of the top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get any tougher than that, does it?
No, it doesn't, but I tell you what, I'm actually looking forward to it, because I think the team's done so well in the games and they've played. They've been competitive, they've challenged. I think I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing how we take the challenge on and what we can do. We're not mathematically safe yet, but we're certainly in a really good position, and that gives us a lot of opportunity to go into those games with that feeling about it. Let's go and see what we can do. Let's see if we can challenge them. We won't go in with as much fear or worry about the whole outcome at the end of it. But as I said, we still have got a little bit of mathematical work to do to make sure we're safe.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Simon. We'll go to Carl.
Hi, Carl.
Hi. Just on you spoke about the Anfield and what it's like for you to go there, but what is the feeling you get going to Anfield yourself, and have you ever had that feeling going to any other ground?
From going to the Etihad to play Man City and going to play the big teams is always difficult. You're always hoping that you can get a favourable result. Let's be fair, most of the teams have been very good. I think in the early days here, it was going to Old Trafford to play against Sir Alex's team. Everybody was saying, how could we get a result? So Anfield's always been like that. And actually with the derby here over the years, it's been difficult. We might be further away from Liverpool than we've ever been at the moment. I think by the time we had left here, I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe 10 years ago or so, I think we were much closer to Liverpool. I think we were competitive, we were competing around the same areas in the league at the time. But I think at the moment it's probably been the biggest gulf between the two clubs.
You sort of touched on it before, that they had 2 defeats in the week before the international break. Do you see any vulnerability in them now that they weren't first time you met them?
Well, I think they won just about all their European games. I think they've they probably have found themselves getting to a final, which is great. We talk about the finals. If we always thought it was going to be one team who won it, then would hardly be worth playing it. So I think there's always a chance that you can lose a final, no matter what. And I think Newcastle were just that bit needing it, and probably a bit more hungry on the day.
Thanks, Carl. We'll go to Shanae.
Hi, David.
Hi there.
You mentioned Liverpool have always had good teams. How does this one compare to the ones that you've seen in the past?
Well, I think this team Liverpool have got at the moment, I'm not an expert on, but I think that they're. I think when Jurgen left, I think we were probably all a bit surprised how well Arne Slot's done, because I think that quite often moving from a sort of dynasty of a manager can be quite difficult. But I think he's settled in really, really well, giving them another go. They've not dropped off, that's for sure, from where they were. I always look back, when you look back over years and years, and there's always been good players at Liverpool, and they've still got good players just now.
Not wanting to bang on about the record, but does it weigh heavily on your mind when it comes around?
Yeah. I don't want it. I want to win. I want to win, and I want to make sure that I get rid of it if I can. That's for sure.
Yeah, so the game presents an opportunity to try and get rid of the record.
Every time we go there, we get another chance to do so. Yeah.
And you've had a couple of weeks to prepare for the game. Have you had any considerations about deploying any tactics to try and stop Mohamed Salah?
yeah, we could try and build a wall or something and stop him and do all sorts of things to see if we can. But he's such a talented player. He has been. But we've done quite a good job on him in the first game, so we'll have to hope that we can do something similar again in this game.
We've seen some great players come and go in the Premier League. He's putting some incredible numbers up. How do you rate the season that he's having this time around? He's
having an unbelievable season for Liverpool, and but let's be fair, we're talking about one of the top Premier League players of this generation anyway. And it's not just this season, he's been so consistent over most seasons, scoring plenty of goals, plenty of assists. Looks as if he plays nearly all the games, very rarely injured. So he's been an excellent player for Liverpool.
When he does leave, in your books, he'll go down as one of the greats of the Premier League.
Yeah, we'll enjoy taking him to the airport and getting him on the plane and getting him out.
Next year we'll go to Julie.
The last one was very dramatic at Goodison, the Merseyside derby, with the pretty much the last second or so, wasn't it, the equaliser. Did you feel you learned a lot about your side in that game, seeing as you'd said you wanted to restore that fighting for the club? Is that where you thought, yeah, these players have got it?
I think for us to be competitive against Liverpool was a big thing, and look, we deserved our draw in the night. We certainly did. We've done enough to earn that and work for it. And when you think of where the difference in the two teams have been, Liverpool have been mainly at the top of the Premier League all season, and we've been very close to the bottom of the league. So it was great that we were able to pull that gulf between the teams much closer together. I thought the players done a great job, and look, we're hoping to do it again. That's the job. We know we're playing against a good side, but we also think that we've got a lot of confidence at the moment. We've got a lot of good results. We've been playing well in many aspects, so we need to keep that going.
Discipline was in the headlines after the derby as well, on both clubs as well. It's always such a fiery game, this one, with the greatest will you can say to players, keep a cool head. How difficult is it as a manager to keep reminding of that for 90 minutes?
Well, I think that it's a game where everybody enjoyed. I mean, the media, everybody, the supporters, everybody. I think even Liverpool supporters in many ways enjoyed the game. Maybe we didn't enjoy the end, but I think it was a game which folk were saying we're having a bit of this and we're enjoying it. But I just think that these games can do that. Other derbies do as well. But also, the game was allowed to flow correctly. We didn't have stoppages for everything. Because if it was the case then, if the game's refereed that way in this country, then it's not what we do. Our culture's slightly different.
This last run then, you're on 34 points right now ahead of these 5 fixtures against the top 5, as we're saying. Do you have a target that you think might mean that you are safe?
I hope that maybe we are at the moment, to be honest, but the truth is it's not there. That's not there mathematically. We can't. And I know what the other teams at the bottom will be doing. Every game for them will be having to win. So we have to try and win our games. But I think there's a little bit more than that. I'm now beginning to say, come on, as I said earlier, I'm hoping to try and see how we do against other games. And we are not expected to be winning the games in some of the teams we're up against. But I think that we've got a chance in a lot of the games. I really do. I think that we've been doing a lot of good things, and if we can keep it going, if we can try and spring one or two surprises along the way, that'll be great.
And speaking of good things, Idrissa Gana Gueye has got the most tackles in the Premier League right now. He's 35. He's coming to the end of his contract here. Firstly, just how much of a quality player is he, and is he someone you would love to take to the new stadium?
Well, what I do know about him is I've only been here a couple of months to work with him, and I think that he's been terrific in the games. He plays younger than what he is at times in many ways, so he's someone who's played well for us. He really has, and I understand how well he's done. We just need to keep going. We won't be making any decisions on contracts until we are mathematically safe, so we'll have a look at all that when we get to that point.
Thanks, Julia. Any further questions in the open section? No, thank you.
Thanks, David.
How you doing? Who are you working for? You working for the Taps? You in here working for the...